Hey guys, so today in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make this mini balloon dog design, which was designed by me, but it is a variation of Gianna's Loom's big balloon dog design, which I posted recently on this channel. So yeah, you should definitely check it out. You can make a big balloon dog and a mini balloon dog. But this is the tutorial for the mini one, so here is the mini one. As you can see, he fits fully in the frame easily. We love that. He takes significantly less bands than the other one. But if you want to see the comparison to the big balloon dog, here is the big one. So he does not fit in frame at all. He's just massive. And then here is my mini one. Also, sorry if you hear anything outside. I've mentioned before, I moved recently. I live closer to a road now. I don't know if you can hear those sirens, but if you can, that's what it is. But yeah, here's this design. I think it's adorable. Of course, I am biased to mini things, so I love this mini one. I just think it's so cute. And I think I mentioned in the big balloon dog tutorial that I was like, I don't know, like just tell me to make a mini one, I'll do it. And then a bunch of you guys wanted it, and I was like, a reason to make a mini one. Honestly, I wanted to make a mini one after making the big one anyways. I just thought it would be cute. So yeah, I'm glad you guys were interested in a mini one too, because I'm so happy with it. But yeah, so I think that's it. Couple things before we get into it. So this design, I don't think it's hard, but just be aware it is a lot of attaching. So basically we have to make all these individual pieces and then we attach them together. I know sometimes for beginners attaching is very hard. The only thing is, like, the only way to get better at attaching is to do it. So I'm not telling you not to make this design, I'm just telling you there is a lot of attaching. I'm going to do my best to guide you through it. I don't think it's that bad, it's just, I know some people don't like attaching, so there is a bit of it. The other thing is it might be a little harder as well because these pieces are a bit small. As you can see when I was holding one, like this is what we're making and they're kind of small. So I know that might be hard for some people, but just letting you know, not trying to scare you off. I don't think this is a hard design. I just you know, telling you to be aware of that, because yeah. But I think that is it. I'm pretty sure. My mind kind of feels everywhere today. You're gonna have to bear with me today. So yeah, I guess we'll get started. If you want to know the band count for this guy, you can check the description where I'll have the official band count, but my guesstimate with that I've been doing in recent tutorials, I don't know why, because sometimes these are wrong, but I'm guessing this guy probably takes around 200 bands, so yeah. But if you want to know the official band count where I actually calculate it, just check the description down below. Also in the description I'll have Gianna's Instagram and mine, just in case you want to check us out, because why not? And now I think that is it, so we will get started. Of course you're going to need a hook. I'm going to be using my double-ended hook today. I just like this hook. You don't need a double-ended hook. You could use a crochet hook, Rainbowloom hook, whatever. You're also going to need a C-clip or just something to mark your rows with. I'm going to be using a C-clip today. You can use stitch marker, paper clip, just something to mark where you end and start. You also just want bands in whatever color you want your balloon dog to be. I'm going to be using pastel yellow today, which I realized may be a mistake because my desk is light yellow, but we'll see how this goes. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You're going to want beads and then some pink bands if you want to do a face on it like I did, but you don't have to do a face. I like putting faces on everything. I think most of you guys know that. So I put a face on mine, but you don't have to if you don't want to. And I always get questions on my beads, and so these are just 4mm round beads, if anyone wants to know. Now we're ready to start. So like I said, patterns in the description if you want to check that out, but we are going to get started. So the first thing we need to do is we need to make 7 of these, like, I don't know, like longer bits. That's kind of what I called them in the big tutorial. They're just these pieces of the balloon dog that are like the longest ones. So we gotta make 7 of these. I pre-made 6 so that way I wouldn't have to make them while making the tutorial. So I'm gonna show you how to make 1, and then you're gonna go make the other 6, come back, and then I'll show you what else to do. So yeah, I'm gonna show you how to make 1. After I finish picking up these bands. Okay, so to start, we're going to start by doing a tripled cap band with 6 stitches in it. So we're going to wrap a band 3 times around our hook. So 1, 2, and then 3. And then we're going to pull the band through everything on our hook, put both ends back on our hook, push this back loop over the front loop, like that. And then and then we're gonna, so many thoughts, then we're just gonna go back into the cap band. Make sure you go through the whole cap band. Pull a band through everything, well not everything. Oh, this is gonna be an interesting tutorial. My brain's everywhere a little bit. Okay. You're gonna pull a band through just the cap band, so not this last loop. You're gonna put both ends back on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and then push the loop from last time over as well. I'll show you that one more time because I accidentally lost the loops, so we'll go through the cap band again. We'll pull a band through just the cap band, so not the last loop. We'll put both ends back on our hook, push the back loop over the front loop, and then push the loop from last time over as well. And we're going to do that thing we just did 3 more times, so we have 6 loops in total in this cap band. I always feel like my mind's a little everywhere after painting, and I'm actually filming kind of more in the afternoon today, like it's around 5 o'clock, and I usually film first thing in the morning, so let's see how this tutorial goes. I rarely film in the afternoons because I feel like I'm usually not at my best by then. I feel like I work best right in the morning, so yeah. Anyways, I just finished doing 6 stitches in the cap band, so we're going to count to make sure we have 6, and to count we're just going to start by counting this band on our loops, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So once you've made sure you have 6 loops, instead of going into the cap band, you're going to go in through this first loop here. And then you'll just pull a band through just the loop, put both ends back on your hook, push the back loop over the front loop, and then push the loop from last time over as well. And then this is the one you're going to put your C-clip on. Like that. So now is already when it gets repetitive. We're going to do 5 rows of single stitches, so 5 rows normal, and then that's pretty much it. We gotta do 5 rows, and then I'll show you what to do after that. So this bit is kind of pretty straightforward. God, there's so much honking. I honestly don't know how well my camera is. When I watched the footage back from the last couple tutorials I did, you can't hear much of what's going on around me, but I feel like everyone's extra obnoxious today. Anyways, like I said, so we're just going to do 5 rows of single stitches, so all we're doing is we're just putting 1 stitch per loop until we get to the C-clip. And I think I'm just going to stay on to do all 5 rows with you, because I'm going to be perfectly honest, this goes by pretty quick. Because we're literally just doing 1 stitch per loop. And then once you get to the C-clip, you're going to make a stitch on the one that has a C-clip on it, and move it up. So that was 1 row. We have to do 4 more rows like that. I think I'm just going to stay on and do all 4 because it's going to be quick. And then I can chat a bit because honestly I had a kind of an interesting day today, so I don't know. I feel like chatting. I'm in a chatty mood, okay? But yeah. So we'll just keep going around. This is going to be row 2 of single stitches. And like I said, it's super fast to go around this. Like, I'm already almost back around it again. So that's row 2. You'll move your C-clip up. So you'll take it off that loop, put it up on the one that's on your hook, and then you'll just keep going around. So that was 2 rows. So we have to do 3 more. But yeah, like I was saying, I'm just going to talk because we're doing repetitive rows, and I'll probably come back to instruction once I finish the 5 rows, because this part's pretty self-explanatory. But I had a bit of an interesting day. I went to paint this morning. See, that's why I'm kind of filming this tutorial in the afternoon, is because I feel like I need most of my creative juices for painting instead of tutorials. I also feel like I've done so many tutorials, I don't need to do them first thing in the morning because I do work best first thing in the morning. So I went painting already, and this morning it was great because I had the whole like painting studio to myself. I do oil painting now, so I can't paint in my room because oil fumes and my room's fairly tiny. So I would go to the studio to paint. And I went to the studio, I had the whole place to myself. I was like, yes, this is great. And I had a feeling I would because there's like a football game, like a college football game today. So pretty much everyone's at the game, and I was like, yes, the studio's gonna be empty. And it was. But then, like, I think it was probably, like, I was literally about to start painting because it took me a bit because I had to mix some paint colors first. So I finished mixing. I'm literally about to start applying paint to the canvas. I hear someone walk in. I turn around and it's my teacher on a Saturday. So I didn't realize it was a Saturday. And I, like, the second he walked in, I had like a mini heart attack, and I made some awful face at him because I freaked out, like, low-key. I was like, what day is it? Am I supposed to be here? What the heck are you doing here on a Saturday? Like, I swear, I went through so many different emotions in 5 seconds, but then I realized I was, like, fine because basically I freaked out because I was like, what day is it? Like, honestly, my brain just went, what day is it? I don't know why, but, like, I have, like, mixed up days before and gotten the day wrong, so I feel like my panic of seeing my teacher wasn't the shock of seeing him, it was more the shock of, oh shoot, what day is it? Did I somehow sleep through the whole weekend and it's actually Monday? Because I usually see him on Mondays and Wednesdays because that's when my classes are. But he went to go help a student with a canvas, but I made the worst face at him possibly because I swear I freaked out. And all he said was like, he's like, what, is it weird seeing me on a Saturday? And I just like, I don't even think I said anything. I like completely malfunctioned. I was malfunctioning because I was just, oh my god. It was interesting. So yeah, that's how my day's gone so far. Anyways, I'm pretty sure that was 5 rows. I'm gonna count to make sure. You can kind of count your rows, and I'll show you how. It's a little bit confusing, but not too bad. So you can see that that's the first stitch we did in the cap band. So then you're just gonna count kind of like diagonally going up from that. So if we count, we have, I feel like you can't see. Can you see? You can see, okay. So there's the one in the cap band. And then if you count up diagonally, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And I mean, if not, it should just look something like this. So if you finished your 5 rows and it looks something like this, we are ready to start the next part. So real quickly before we do the next step, we are gonna stuff this. I think that this guy just turns out better if you stuff him. Also because of how we attach him and everything, I think he just ends up a little bit like sturdier. So yeah, I recommend stuffing. So I'm gonna stuff him off camera because this thing is already hard to stuff as it is because of how tiny it is. So I'm not gonna stuff it on camera, but I'm stuffing it with cotton balls, in case you were wondering. But yeah, I can't believe I had that awkward interaction. Well, I can believe I do stuff like that all the time. Honestly, masks, when the pandemic and all that, were like saved me because I always, like, my face tends to react before my mind does. So if I don't like someone or something, you can really tell. I've been told that before too, like people can just tell when I don't like people because apparently I make faces. I didn't know I did this, but like I still usually wear a mask to school and that just because I don't want to get sick. But since no one was in the studio, I did not have a mask on. If I had a mask on, I would have been great, but no, I didn't have a mask on, so I was able to make some awful face at my teacher. I don't even know what I made. He probably just saw my brain malfunctioning. But yeah, I think I've told you guys about the one time I got the day wrong and showed up to school thinking it was a Tuesday and it was a Thursday and we had a project due and my project wasn't done because I was convinced it was a Tuesday. I don't even know how that happened, but sometimes when I have really busy weeks, I do tend to lose track of the days. So I've been good this semester, but yeah, when I saw him there on a Saturday, I mean, I should have known he was just there, like, being all chill on the weekend because his outfit was not what he usually wears. So yeah, but yeah, for 2 seconds, my brain just like freaked out. Anyways, I finished stuffing it. So now all we're gonna do is we are just gonna decrease everything until it's closed. And at this point, you can just take the C-clip out. Let me focus my camera. Focus camera. There we go. So, like I said, we'll be decreasing everything until it's closed, and how you decrease is you grab the inside part of one loop and the back part of the next loop, and you just make a stitch. And that's a decrease. And we're just gonna do that until we can't decrease anymore, so you just do inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, make a stitch. And then I think this next one's gonna be my last decrease, so I'm gonna pick up the decrease, and I can tell I can't really decrease anymore after this. So once you hit that point, you're just gonna pull a band through everything on your hook, put the back one over the front one, and pull tight. And then we'll just tuck this tail into our balloon piece. I don't know what to call this. I am also tucking the tail off camera because sometimes I just don't have like the energy to tuck tails on camera. It's just so easy to snag stuff when I try to tuck stuff in on camera, and it's not like the pulling it in part, it's like the going up to pull it in part. That's why I did that part off camera. So yeah. So that's one leg. And like I said, you want to make 7 of these total, so that's 1. You're going to want to go make 6 more. I already have my 6, so you're just going to want to pause the video here, go make 7 legs total, or not legs, I guess balloon bits. It's kind of what we've been calling them. You're going to want to go make 7 total, come back, and then I'll show you what to do next. So, once you make all these, we're actually just going to set these aside, so let's just sweep them out of the way. And we have to make a couple other pieces. We have to make the head, we have to make the neck, and we have to make the tail. So right now we've made these pieces and then this piece, but we still have to make the head, neck, and tail. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm just picking up bands really quickly. So I think we're gonna do the head next, and this is actually made exactly the same as these things. We just do 1 less row. I'm still gonna show you how to do it just because I don't want you to be confused. So, and I know a lot of people like following along and doing the pattern at the same time, so I'm just gonna show you how to do it, even though it is literally exactly the same as like these long balloon bits, just with 1 less row. But I'll stay on camera anyways. The whole point of this tutorial is for me to show you how to do it, so yeah. So once again, we're gonna start by doing a tripled cap band with 6 stitches in it. I'm gonna go a little faster because we already did 1 this tutorial. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then we're gonna pull a band through everything on our hook, put both ends back on our hook, push the back one over the front one, go back through the cap band, pull a band through just the cap band, put both ends back on our hook, push the back one over the front one, and then push the last one over as well. Voice is being weird. And then we're just gonna do that 4 more times, so we have 6 stitches in the cap band in total. I was trying to see how many I have. Okay, I was 1 short. Okay, so once you've done 6 stitches in your cap band, you're gonna want to count to make sure, so we'll start by counting the one on our hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So once you've made sure you have 6, instead of going back into the cap band, we're gonna go in through this first loop here. We're gonna pull a band through, make a stitch, and I will put a C-clip on this one. Oops. Like that. So now, like I said, this is very similar to the other one. We're gonna do 4 rows normal, so we're just gonna do 4 rows of single stitches. And I'm gonna stay on camera and do all the rows with you just because this is really quick, but we're just gonna do 4 rows of single stitches. And at the end of each of these rows, you should still be at 6 loops. I think I forgot to mention that when we're making the other bit, but we're not increasing or decreasing. So at the end of each of these rows, you should still be at 6 loops. So that was 1 row. We got to do 3 more. I'm going to do these a little bit fast just because we already did a bunch, so I don't know. I'm always so iffy on how much I need to explain in tutorials, but I feel like once we've done one thing, like once per tutorial, I can, like, I don't have to explain as heavily, I guess, or like as in detail. I don't know. So this is row 2, and like I said, we gotta do 4, but it'll be really quick. Trying to think if I had anything else to talk about. I feel like I already had quite an interesting day today. I didn't do too much this morning. I literally woke up and then I just woke up and got ready, and then I went to paint. I painted. My paintings are turning out good. I've been posting a lot on my account gingercel4, so if you want to see what I'm up to, I've been posting a lot on there. It was funny though, because one of my classmates, like, he followed me on Instagram, and I still kind of use that account as like my spam account. Like, it's not really my personal account. It has art on it, but sometimes I just post things on the story that I don't know, just random stuff. It's like just like my paintings I'm working on, or just like if I have a random thought, I'll usually post it on there. But then my classmate came, like, I went to go check on his paintings, because like it's a thing we do in our painting class. Like, before we all leave, usually after class, we'll go look at what everyone's working on. So I go to check out his paintings, and then I'm like, hey, you know, your paintings look good. And then he goes, oh yeah, I think it's so cute how you post on Instagram. I'm like, okay, interesting. I don't know. No one's ever called how I post cute, but I don't know if I come off as a happy person, or if it's just like the way I post. My brother always tells me I type like a cupcake, so maybe I do. I think I have to do one more row still. Yes, we got one more roast. But yeah, I just thought it was funny because I've never really like thought about how I post, but I guess, I don't know. The other thing was, before so after I painted, I decided to roller skate a bit on campus because there's this nice piece of cement like really close to the art studio, so I was like, I'm gonna go skate like before I go home. So I got like 30 minutes of skating in when it randomly started raining, and it was perfectly sunny. There was one cloud, and of course that cloud had rain in it. So I ended up only lasting 30 minutes, and then I had to take my skates off because it rained. So that's been my day. Anyways, I finished my 4 rows of single stitches, so now we're gonna stuff it and then we will close it up. So I'm gonna stuff it really quickly. I'm stuffing off camera again because stuffing on camera is hard, but I'm still using cotton ball. But yeah, I literally only lasted skating for, it was probably, yeah, 30 minutes, and then all of a sudden rain out of nowhere, and then it started like getting windy and stuff. I'm like, it's gonna start storming. That's one weird thing about living here, is it'll just randomly like rain really hard for like 20 minutes or like an hour, and then that'll be it for the day. So it just like randomly rains and then stops. It's really weird still, because usually like where I'm from, if it rains, it's like an all day thing. It's rare we'll have rains that last only like 30 minutes or something. Like if it rains where I'm from, it rains like all day, or like a good portion of the day for a couple hours. So it's been interesting that here it'll just like randomly rain for a few minutes and then be like, no, I'm done. And then that'll be it. So I don't know. It's just weird. It's just an observation I've made, and I'm like, interesting. I don't know. I've always lived in the same place, so living somewhere else has been like so different. Anyways, I think my camera's about to time out, so let me just stop this and then I'll show you what to do next after, because I don't want it to cut off while I'm showing you what we're doing. Okay, so the next step we're gonna do is actually, we're just gonna close them up. So just like before, we're gonna decrease everything until it is closed. So yeah. So we are just gonna do a decrease. So we're gonna grab the inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, and make a stitch. Also at this point, we could just take the C-clip out. I usually just like to take it out so that way it's out of the way. But yeah, we're just gonna grab the inside part of one loop, the back part of the next loop, and we're gonna make a stitch. There is a hair stuck in him. I'm like, I thought I saw a hair. Yeah, there is. Oops. So once you can't decrease anymore, you're just gonna pick up that last decrease on your hook. You're gonna pull the band through everything on your hook. You're gonna push the back one over the front one and pull tight. And then we tuck in the tail. I just realized I forgot to say that and I just automatically started tucking in the tail. So you're just gonna tuck in the tail. And that'll be it for this piece. So this is gonna be our head. So it's a row shorter than the other piece, so you can tell which it is. The focus is all weird. But yeah. So that's that. I guess the next thing we will do is the neck. So we're gonna make the neck. And it starts the exact same way. So we're going to do a tripled cap band. We're going to put 6 stitches in it. And I think I'm not going to explain this too much because I've already done 2 of these triple cap band 6 stitches things in this tutorial. So I'm just going to do it. So we have our tripled cap band. And then we're just going to put 6 stitches in it. You know, all of filming this tutorial has made me realize is how I really need to redo the Loomigurumi basics video. I've been thinking about it and I'm like, yeah, it's like really high up on my to-do list. Like it's probably gonna be a few videos after this one's posted, but I've been meaning to redo that Loomigurumi basics video for like a year already and I just haven't gotten around to it. So I think probably tomorrow. Actually, probably not tomorrow because I'm gonna be at the studio most of the day tomorrow because I need to do some painting. It's probably Monday. You guys don't care about my schedule. Why am I telling you this? But yeah, probably this Monday, which doesn't matter for you, but I'm telling you anyways. I'm gonna refilm the Loomigurumi basics video. Anyways, once you have 6 stitches in your cap band, you're just gonna want to count to make sure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're gonna go in through the loop, make a stitch. And we're gonna put our C-clip on this one. Where'd my C-clip go? It's right here. Like that. So now we're gonna do 2 rows of normal, just single stitches. So just 2 rows normal. At the end of each of these rows, we should still be at 6 loops. I'm just gonna stay on, do the 2 rows, and then, yeah, I'll tell you what to do next after that. Even though, as you can tell, this design's pretty repetitive, you can probably guess what we're gonna do after the 2 rows of single stitches. But I'm gonna stay on and do the 2 rows with you anyways. You know, I always just stay on to do some rows usually because I always think of Filling Spiffy, who is like my loom idol, I guess. Like she's the person I looked up to before I had a... I still look up to her. I love her tutorials. Like, she's just my favorite loomer, honestly. So I always just think of Filling Spiffy, and I loved when she would stay on and like loom a little bit on camera, so that's why I feel like I stay on and loom a little bit on camera. I mean, sometimes I definitely don't have to. Like, I could have just cut this whole bit out, but I always liked that, and I always liked when she stayed and just talked about her day and stuff, and I feel like that's why I do that in my tutorials. Yeah. You know, I always think about Filling Spiffy though, and I always hope she's doing well because I know she stopped making tutorials because she was having issues with her son, I believe, and yeah, that sucks because my family had issues for a while as well, and those are just never fun. So I really hope she's doing well. I always randomly think of her and I'm like, man, I hope she's okay. I honestly think that Filling Spiffy might come back to Rainbowloom one day because like the only reason she stopped was because of family issues, so I can see her maybe like in a couple, like in like 5 years or 10 even, coming back because you can tell she loved it, I feel. But who knows, because then her kids will be all grown up too, like the younger ones who are always on her channel. I don't know if you guys always watch Filling Spiffy. If you guys haven't made Filling Spiffy's designs, you definitely should. She has amazing designs. I don't know if I'll continue the series I started on this channel where I was kind of just like making some of her designs in an attempt to finish doing every single one of Filling Spiffy's designs. I'm pretty close. I believe I counted and I have like 30 left to make, and then I would have had made every single design on her channel, so yeah, I might continue that series because I would basically just loom and chat while like just doing whatever and just making her designs. I don't know, maybe I'll finish that series. It's also a chance for you guys to see me use my actual Rainbowloom because I never use it on this channel. Anyways, that was the 2 rows normal, so now we're gonna stuff this. And once again, I am stuffing with cotton balls off camera because I hate stuffing on camera. I feel like sometimes it's doable to stuff on camera in tutorials, but these things are just so thin. It's just like, do I want to get frustrated trying to stuff on camera? No. No, I do not. And that was actually really quick to stuff because of how small it was. So once you stuffed it, you probably guessed it, we can just take the C-clip out. We're going to decrease until it's closed. And then, yeah. So we're just going to do decreases all the way around until we can't decrease anymore. So you just grab the inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, make a stitch. And then once you have the very last decrease up on your hook, you're just going to pull a band through everything on your hook. Push the back one over the front one and pull tight. And then you're just going to tuck your tail in. And that is it for the neck. And I'm just hiding the tail in off camera because this one's so tiny it is kind of a pain to hide the tail. But yeah, like that. Okay, so I had to go off camera to make sure I knew how I was going to do the next one correctly. So the next thing we're going to do is the tail. I am going to be doing the tail a little bit different than on this guy just because I always felt like this top part looked a little too chunky, so I just tested out a way how to do it better. It was just something I needed to improve. I can't show you, so you're just going to have to trust me. I mean, you can look at the thumbnail and see how his tail is. It probably looks better, I know it does, but yeah. So we're just going to do a little bit different. I don't know, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna do the tail. So, once again, we're gonna start the exact same way as pretty much all the other ones. We're gonna do a tripled cap band with 6 stitches in it, so let's do that. So we're gonna wrap a band 3 times around our hook, so 1, 2, 3. And then we're gonna put 6 stitches into this cap band, so 1, 2, 3. So yeah, we're just doing 6 stitches in the cap band. I don't know why I was counting. I was kind of doing that without thinking. And 6. So now if we count, we should have 6 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now instead of going into the cap band, we're going to go in through this first loop here. We're going to make a stitch. And this is the one that our C-clip is going to go on. Like that. So now we are going to do 3 rows normal. So we're just going to do 3 rows, single stitches. And that's it. I actually think this is wrong. I think we do 4 rows of single stitches just because it makes more, kind of makes more sense. Actually no, 3 rows is right. I'm sorry. I should just listen to my own pattern. So yeah, we're gonna do 3 rows of single stitches. I don't know why I'm doubting my own pattern. I'm like, is that right? Yes, it is. So yeah, 3 rows of single stitches. And I'm not really explaining because we've done the same thing so many times in this tutorial. You know, I was talking to my little brother yesterday. I'm just gonna talk while we do these 3 rows. But I was talking to my little brother and I was telling him how I kind of realized that I really actually do love teaching, which was a weird realization for me because I never thought of it. Like, I always film these tutorials and I never thought of it as teaching. I kind of just thought it of like showing you how to do, I don't know. I never considered it like a form of teaching, I guess. But then being in my painting class, it like kills me sometimes because of how he runs the class, and I'm like, oh dude, if you just did it this way it would be so much better. And it kind of made me realize how much I would love to run a class like that one day, maybe. I don't know. I would definitely teach the college level. Like, I'm not teaching tiny children, no. If I'm teaching at the college level. And probably not at a prestigious art school, but like, I of course went to a community college before I came here. Like, I think I would love to teach at a community college one day. I'd probably try to go back to my community college, like the one I came from, and teach there because I think that would be so fun. But yeah, nothing's wrong with the way my teacher teaches. It's just I'm like sometimes in class and I'm like, man, like thinking of ways of how I would teach it, which is, interesting, but I don't know. I don't even know if I'd even teach at a college, or maybe I would just like expand more to teaching like other things on YouTube. Like I'm gonna be expanding to teaching, like, well, not teaching, but like doing polymer clay tutorials soon, and I want to do like a polymer clay basics video and like all that. So I don't know. It's just interesting because I never thought I would be any kind of teacher. I feel like, because when I think like teacher, I think of like teaching tiny children, and that for sure is still a no, but I honestly think that teaching at the college level could be something that like I'm really interested in. And I don't doubt I'll probably teach at the college level like eventually, but like like maybe I'll try to do like the whole artist gallery thing. So if you don't know, I'm going to art school for art. I'm trying to be an artist of some sort. So maybe I won't teach right away, but I think I could definitely see myself teaching one day. I feel like I would be such a harsh teacher too, because I feel like my teachers are so lax on students sometimes, and I feel like I would never let that fly. I'd be like, nope. So yeah. Anyways, after the 3 rows, we're gonna stuff this, so just stuff it with some cotton. I am still stuffing off camera. But yeah. I feel like part of it's just like, I see, like, I don't know, it's probably different when you're the teacher, but like, so, I feel like I would be a little harsher. Just because, like, my teachers are so lax. Like, I definitely would not be that lax. I'd be like, I would definitely be a harsh teacher. And it's funny because I had a harsh teacher, like a really harsh teacher before coming here, and I loved him. He was harsh, but honestly, I loved him. So I'm used to harsh teachers, so that my current teacher to me seems like the nicest person on the planet. But then I was talking to my classmates and they're like, oh my god, he is so harsh. And I'm like, he is not harsh. Like, he is so nice. I honestly wish he would be harsher. So yeah, it's been interesting, but just because I come from, I had a pretty harsh teacher, so yeah. Anyways, now we are just going to decrease everything until it is closed, so we're just going to, every single stitch we do is going to be a decrease until we can't decrease anymore. And I don't know why the cotton's like pulling up. But yeah, we're just going to decrease until we can't decrease anymore. You know, I was worried that the yellow was going to blend into my background, but I feel like it's been okay. I know you guys can't really see me decreasing, but that's not the background. That's just because of how small it is. And you can already take your sequel out. But once you have that last decrease up on your hook, you're just going to pull a band through everything on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and pull tight. And then you'll tuck your tail in. So to make the weird, like, sticky uppy bit on the tail, I'll show you what we'll do. So what we're going to do, after you hide your tail, is you're going to come through the back part here, and you're just going to go through it. You're going to double a band, and you're going to pull it through, put both ends back on your hook, like that. I don't know if my camera's focused. There we go. So we're going to do that again. We're going to double a band, pull the band through everything on our hook, both ends back on. We're going to do that one more time. Double a band, put both ends back on your hook, like that. And you just pull a band through everything on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and pull tight. And then you're just going to want to weave this tail down into the balloon dog. I don't know, I feel like I'm saying a lot today. Not important, but you just kind of have to weave it down through the chain. I know this is a little annoying, but I do think the tail looks better this way. But yeah, you're just going to weave the tail down through the chain, and then you'll just tuck it into the tail. So you tuck the tail into the tail, I just realized. And I just think that this looks better for the balloon dog tail. So, yeah. It actually looks perfect. Yay. So, that was it for all the pieces we have to make. So, by now you should have 7 long pieces, this one little short piece for the neck, the tail, and then a smaller piece that is the head. So, you should have these 3 pieces, and then 7 of these pieces. So, once you have all that, it's going to be time to start attaching everything so we can make our balloon dog. So yeah, so I'm gonna just pick up some bands because we still need bands to tie everything together. Pretty much the way we attach everything together is a little bit different than the big guy, because on the big guy we did some like chaining around and stuff. We're not gonna do any of that. We're pretty much just slip knotting this whole thing together. It's just the way I have found that's like the best way for it to stay together, and I feel like because it's so small, like slip knotting the big guy together was a little hard. Like, because I did do it wrong the first time and I slip knotted him together instead of tying him together properly. But because this guy's a little smaller, like, you can slip knot him together and he feels fine and stable. I just feel like because the other guy was so big, you had to do so many slip knots, so it made sense to do the weird chain around thing we did. But for this one, it is just better to just, like, slip knot everything together. So, we're gonna start by getting all the long bits. So get like 6 of the long bits, and then just set everything else aside. So we're gonna make the legs and the ears by just tying 2 of these together. So let me show you with the first set. And the way I like to tie them together is I like to make sure I have one side with the cap band, so you can tell this is a cap band, and then one side where we tied it off. I just think it looks nicer when you have them like this. You're gonna go through part of this one, and then you'll go through part of this one, and you'll just tie them together. It's pretty straightforward. And I usually like to tie them together twice. So the only other thing that's a pain about this design is we do have to hide all the tails from where we tie them together. It's a little tedious, but it's not bad. So we just go to the other side after you've tied that side together twice and do the same thing. So we're just gonna flip it around and we just do the same thing. So we just go through part of each of the sides and then tie them together. And then we'll do it twice. You can only tie them together once if you want. I just feel like it feels more like stable and everything when you tie them together twice. Like that. Now we'll hide all our tails. And you just hide your tails by tucking them into the ears or legs, whatever this is, I don't know. Because it could be ears or legs. But yeah, you're just going to tuck them all in. It is a little hard for me to tuck on camera, so I hope you kind of know how to do that, because it's just so hard to tuck tails in on camera. I don't know why. I've been doing tutorials for what, like 5 years now, and it's just such a pain to tuck tails on camera. And I feel like because this guy's a little smaller, it's just so hard. Like, I just feel like I'm not in the mood to bother today. I keep snagging stuff, like I tried right now, and I just snagged a bunch of stuff. Okay, sorry for that awkward silence while I was tucking everything in. But once you tuck everything in, your ears slash legs should look a little something like this. So we're just going to want to do these for the other 2 sets. We're going to do the exact same thing. I realized I probably should have tied some of these together off camera. So once again, you're just going to make sure you have like the cat band side up, and then like where we tied it side up for one side. And then you'll just tie them together. So you just go through part of each. Pull a band through everything on your hook. Push the back one over the front one, and then pull tight. But I lost my band. I just pull tight. I'll do that one more time. So I just tie it 2 times per side. I just think that that's the best way. I'm trying to tie this guy together quickly because I can't believe I forgot to tie these together off camera. Okay, so that's another set. I'm just going to tie the last set together really quickly. I'm trying to think if I have anything to talk about while we tie this last set together and I tuck in the tails. It just doesn't make sense for me to pause the video footage. So I'm just going to do this really quickly. Do I have anything I would like to talk about? Let me think. I don't think so. I haven't had much interesting stuff going on. I did have my first 2 exams here. I was a little worried about my first 2 exams because I have not taken a test, like any kind of school test, in like, it's been like a year and a, I want to say 2 years. It's been like 2 years since I've taken any kind of like proper test. So I was scared going into my first 2 exams, but I did really well. I got an 100 on one of them, so I got like a perfect score. And then on the other one, I got like a 91, which is really good. So I got A's on both. So I am happy. And I was worried about them because, I don't know, I was like, what if I lost all my test taking abilities in the 2.5 years I was gone? But nope, I did really well. And I'm so happy I did because I was worried. Tests are still tests, and yeah. I also just feel like I was worried because, like, I feel like I did well on the test because I just naturally look at a lot of art history stuff. So I'm taking 2 art history classes. So if you're wondering what classes I'm taking, even though you probably don't care, but I need to fill the silence while I tuck in these tales. So this semester I'm taking painting, I'm taking Core 2, which is just like a basic art class. I'm taking issues in contemporary art, and I'm taking history of modern art. I love my art history classes. I'm actually minoring in art history, hopefully. So yeah, I'm excited. And yeah, so I was worried about my art history test because when I signed up for school, there was my advisor, who was like the person who kind of like advises you on what class to take. She was like, you should not take 2 art history classes. That's a bad idea. And I was like, I'm gonna do it anyways. So I did it anyways, and I'm glad I did because I love them both. But she kind of was forewarning me, like, you're not gonna have a fun time. But I actually really love art history, so I've been loving having 2 art history classes. It's funny though, because they had like advised me, like, don't take 2 art history classes, that's an awful idea. But then they advised me to take 2 painting classes at the same time. And I think if I took 2 painting classes at the same time, I would be miserable. I would just be miserable because, like, I just can't imagine having to do 2 classes of painting and 2 studio classes of painting. Ugh, I'd be going insane right now. Anyways, I have tied them all together. Sorry for that little bit, but I forgot. So now we're going to want to get all our other pieces. So you're going to want to get all your pieces. You should have something that looks like this. So you should have this generally. And I think we're going to start by tying the legs onto the body. So this is the body. It's our last long piece. So get that, and we'll set the rest of these aside. And I'm just going to pick up some bands so I can tie them. And all we're gonna do is so let's look at where my balloon dog has his legs. And we're gonna tie them in about the same spot. So we're just gonna line up this with this. And we're just gonna tie it where we want it, which is kind of like at the end of this guy. So I'm just gonna go right here. Tie it together. I believe I only had to tie these on twice. You can kind of see where I'm tying it on. Yeah, you're just gonna tie it twice onto the body. That feels pretty stable, so I don't feel like I have to tie it again, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. And I'm gonna leave the tails hanging until I have everything where I like it, just in case I want to undo anything. We're gonna come to the other side, we're gonna get our other leg, and we're just gonna tie it on. Go through this bit. Right here. Then we'll go through part of the legs. Like that. Just tie it together. Oops. Then we'll just tie the other side on. I usually try to tie one more towards one side and then one more towards the other side. I think that just helps like it tie more nicely. So I don't like tie 2 times directly in the middle. I tie one side more this way and then one side more this way. And if your legs still feel a little wobbly, mine are now, I'm gonna tie like one more time, like this under bit to like the under of the dog, I feel. That'll help. So if it feels a little wobbly anywhere, just tie it together one more time and it should feel better. So yeah, that side feels more stable. Like that. And I still don't want to tuck any of the tails in until I'm completely done. I just in case I want to move anything. Also, I'm sorry if the lighting looks okay still for my tutorial, but I'm sorry if it's changed since the start of my tutorial. During the course of me filming, the sun has actually almost gone down completely. So let me turn my light up a little bit. I thought I had enough daylight, but it's looking like I might not. But I think we still look, like it still looks good. Like the quality is, we're still good. But yeah, just a note. Anyways, we're gonna tie the head onto the neck. So this piece is our tiniest piece we have left. And we're gonna tie it onto one side of the leg, whichever side, it doesn't matter. And we're just gonna tie it on. So we're just gonna go through part of the neck, and then go through part of the dog, and tie them together. And I probably am gonna wanna tie the neck on like 3 times. So you just go through part of the neck, and part of the dog. And the neck, in case it wasn't obvious, is usually like the smallest of all the pieces. And as you can also see, just like I'm not like tying in the same spots. I'm kind of tying like around the neck. So I tied one time over here, then I tied one time over here, and now I'm going to tie one in the front. Definitely if you're tying multiple times, you don't want to keep tying in like the same spot because that's not going to help anything. You want to tie, like, you want to tie in different spots. Yeah, after tying the neck in 3 times, it feels stable, so I'm going to leave it. And now we're going to want to get the head. So the head, we should have like this, we should have the tail, the head, and then the ears left. We need the head, and we're just going to tie the head onto the neck. And we're pretty much doing the same thing. Go through part of the neck, and part of the head, and you just tie it together. And the head you're going to want to tie on probably about 3 times too. So I tied one straight in the back. I'm going to do one like towards this side in the front, and then towards this side in the front. Usually I like to tie some of these on 3 times, but if I tie them on 3 times, as you can see, I kind of like circle around it, if that makes sense. And I don't hide any of my tails in until I'm happy with my balloon dog. And the reason why I do this is just if you need to like move anything, it's super easy to just untie everything. Versus like if you tucked everything in, it's just gonna be a pain to figure out where everything is tied in. Also for the neck, you don't want to tie it like super like far out. That way it kind of looks like it goes in where everything connects. But yeah. So once you have the head attached to the neck, we're going to attach the ears on, and we're going to put them right here. And once again, we're going to tie them about 3 times. So the balloon dog comes together quite quickly. I'm also realizing that my camera's about to time out. Hold up. Okay, so I've redone the footage. Well, I've re-hit record so that way my camera won't time out. And we are just going to tie the ears onto the head. Doing pretty much the same thing. I had to turn on my overhead light too, so I'm sorry if everything looks a little more orangey. I've noticed whenever I have to turn on my like overhead light, it just makes my like everything in my room look more orange. They're a little awkward to tie on. I also feel like whenever I don't film during the day, it makes my hands look all nasty. Like, I don't know why. It's just like this lighting is not good for my hands. But I don't honestly think, let me know what you think of the tutorial and like how the lighting is and everything, because filming at night, because like I've been hesitant to film at night because I've had time at night. It's just, I honestly like how my tutorials look better during the day, but I do have more time at night because usually, I'm just talking while I tied these ears onto the head, but usually I paint during the day because my parents don't want me like walking home alone at night, so I try to get it all done during the day. So honestly, during the night is when I like work on my loom designs, or I just do whatever the heck I want like at home. I've been working on clay recently, but that's not important. Oh wow, those actually feel stuck on pretty well with only being tied twice. Well, I'm gonna leave it. But let me know what you think of the lighting and everything in the tutorial if you like it. Because then I can definitely film probably more tutorials more often if I just film at night. I just have been hesitant because I don't know if I like how they look. So the very last thing we need to tie on is just the tail, so we'll just tie the tail onto the butt. And we're just doing the same thing. And I still haven't tucked any of the like tails from where we slip knotted in, and I think I'm just gonna save that for last. But we'll just tie the tail. I think I'm only gonna have to tie this one twice. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm gonna have to tie it on more than that. And that's it. So it might look a little awkward right now. I'm just gonna hide all the tails off camera really quickly, or just try to get majority of them hidden. I know there's a lot of tails. That's the one thing about this tying method that's a pain, but just tuck them in. And then we'll be done. I'll show you how to do the face, and then that'll be it for this tutorial. Yay. I'm so happy I have a yellow balloon dog. I possibly made a yellow one because yellow is my favorite color. And I actually thought to make a yellow one because green is Bread's favorite color, who is my sibling. And I thought it would be cool to have a yellow and green balloon dog because like they're both our favorite colors. Okay, so I paused to tuck everything in because I realized that if not, we would be here for a while with just like silence or something. So I tucked everything in, and this is how my balloon dog looks now. So he looks like a balloon dog. Also, if any of your like connections look a little too like tight, it's probably just because you tied around the neck and head too thick, but I think mine looks pretty good. It's honestly gonna be hard to get it perfect because it's so tiny, but yeah, I'm happy with mine. So we're gonna do a face, and then that's gonna be it for this tutorial. I really think it's funny how with this design you just like make a bunch of pieces and then stick them all together and it just magically becomes a balloon dog. So yeah. So you're gonna want to get your beads for your eyes. I have mine. And you're gonna want to get a piece of string of some sort. I always use dental floss. I just think that this works best. Moving him out of the way so we can focus properly. There we go. So we'll just put our bead onto our string. Oh, this side's so frayed out. Is the other side frayed out? It's not as bad. So we'll put our bead on the string. Then we'll get our band, put it on the string as well. Then we fold over, go back through the bead, and then you just slide your bead onto the band. And then you'll have your eye. Of course, if you're using safety eyes, you won't have to do this. You would have probably put them in earlier, or you can just put them in now. But I use beads, so... Or at least for my smaller designs, I think beads are better. I do use safety eyes for my big designs sometimes, but for my tinier ones, it's just more convenient. So once you have your eye on the band, you're going to get your balloon dog. I'm gonna come like right here. And then we're just gonna tie our eye in and pull tight. And we hide the tail. I know, more tails to hide. So annoying, but it's just for the eyes, so it's just two. I think I didn't tie the head on very well, but it's okay. Then we'll come to the other side and we'll tie the other eye in. So I'm gonna come, I try to make them about evenly spaced, so I think right here will be pretty good. Is that even? Yeah, that's pretty even. Hide our tail. Like that. So the very last thing we have to do is the cheeks. So you're gonna get two band in the color you want in the cheeks. You're gonna come right under the eye. You're gonna pull a band through. You're gonna put both ends back on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and pull tight, but not too tight, and then we're gonna hide that tail. Like that. And then you'll have a cheek. We're gonna do that on this side as well. We're gonna come right under where the eye is. Push the back one over the front one, pull tight but not too tight, and then hide the tail. Like that. That's not a very good tail hide. You can still see it. Sometimes it's the issue with the lighter colors when you put cheeks in, is you can kind of see where your tails are, so just make sure you can't see that. But yeah. So that is pretty much it. Oh my god, we forgot. Okay, we're not done yet. I'm sorry if anyone left the tutorial, but we have to do this bit on the front. How could I forget? Like, it just slipped my mind, and then I was about to start wrapping up and I was like, he doesn't have his balloon bit on the front. So don't forget the balloon bit. If anyone left this tutorial though. Oops. I didn't notice that. Oh, okay. So we have to do this little balloony bit in the front, his nose. So we're gonna stitch 3 times right here in the front of his face. So we're gonna stitch 3 times. So 1, 2, and then 3. So we're gonna stitch 3 times in the front of his face, and then you're gonna go back through the first loop, but when we go back through the first loop, or the first stitch we did, we're only gonna go through the outer half. And we'll make a stitch. And then we'll put a C-clip on this one. Man, I can't believe I nearly forgot to do this. Anyways, now we're gonna increase everything all the way around, so we're just gonna do increases, and we're also only gonna be going on the outer half of each of these loops. So we're just gonna go on the outer half of the 3 loops, and we're gonna do an increase. So we haven't increased at all this tutorial, so you just basically put 2 stitches per loop, and that will be an increase. It's kind of hard for me to show you because of how tight it is. We're just doing 2 stitches per loop, and once again we're doing like a weird half row, so we're only going to the outside half of each loop. And it's really hard to see what I'm doing, I'm sorry, but that's just kind of how this weird nose is. And then once you get back to the C-clip, you're going to go through the whole loop of the one that the C-clip is on. So make sure you go through the whole thing. So you'll go through that whole loop. And then you're just going to pull a band through everything on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and pull tight. And then you'll just take your C-clip out, hide the tail, and then now we'll be done. I can't believe I nearly forgot that. You know, I was wondering when I was putting the eyes on, like, why does his face look a little odd? You forgot basically the part that kind of makes him like a balloon dog. Lovely. I'm gonna have to put a thing about that in the description. Oops. Okay. And then to make it look more like the weird balloon nose, if it looks a little weird on the front, you kind of just have to pull it like out and back. And then it'll kind of do the balloon thing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So now that is it for this tutorial. I hope your balloon dog turned out okay. I know we had that little bit of a mess up towards the end, but hopefully everything's fine. So if you make one of these, definitely tag me. Tag Gianna as well, because this is based off her design, and I'm pretty sure she would love to see your mini balloon dogs as well. Even though this is technically a variation of her design, I did do all the work in making it mini, but she did, like, variations are always tricky, but tag her as well, because I'm pretty sure she would love to see your mini balloon dogs as well, and maybe make her big one, even though it is a little bit heavy, but yeah. So subscribe if you want to see more tutorials from me. I have more tutorials coming. The next tutorial coming is actually I think it's going to be a panda. Someone asked me to do a tutorial for their panda design, and it's so cute. I haven't made the design yet, so I can't show it to you, but I think the next design that's going to be on my channel is a panda design. So yeah, I think a couple of you guys requested a panda. I'm thinking the tutorial after that is going to be a little Halloween-y. I'm thinking maybe. I already showed you guys the sky and squirrel tutorial, but yeah, he's coming back in case you didn't see him in that one. So yeah, follow my Instagram if you want to check me out anywhere else. I usually post new designs on Instagram before here, so check me out on Instagram. Also with school, if I disappear, if I get swept up in schoolwork, you'll know on Instagram, and I've been pretty good about the community tab as well. Also in the community tab, I currently have a poll going because I'm thinking about doing a live stream on this channel, so if you have any feedback for me on that, check out the community tab. and you'll also see things from the community tab if you subscribe. I'll link my Instagram, Etsy, and all that down below. I also really would appreciate if you check out my Etsy because I haven't really mentioned it on this channel, but my Etsy is one of my main sources of income right now in college, so if you can please check it out and maybe support my Etsy, I would really appreciate it. I feel so shameless doing a self-promotion for my Etsy, but I really would appreciate it if you at least maybe go check it out, like some of my stuff. I don't know. But yeah. Anyways, I think that is it for this tutorial after that shameless self-promotion. Yeah, I think that is it for this one. I hope you liked it. I hope your balloon dogs turn out okay, but I will see you in the next one, which will hopefully be soon. Bye.